Are you going to introduce us, Taj?
Okay, we're live now.
Okay, well, my name is Reichardt.
Wait a minute, wait. Hi, okay, we're live now.
Okay. Can we introduce ourselves? Taj, do you want to start off?
Taj, you there?
Okay, yeah, I'm here, yeah. Okay, so this is the live stream for September 25th. And today we have Sarah, Danielle, and Richard on our show. And I'm just waiting. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hi. Okay.
We're all here. Sarah, you there?
Yes, hello, I'm here.
Okay, good.
Looking forward to it.
We're only doing an audio show today.
Because most of us look like crap. That's why.
Yeah. Danielle looks like a sack of crap, so we're going.
Well, I have to say, can I say that from what I've seen of both of you, I think people would be happy to see you, even if you did, and I don't think you do. That apart, I respect your right for privacy.
You know, Pash, tomorrow will be a better day.
It will. It will.
I think you're just grateful you don't have to see me on the camera.
I'm just waiting for the chat room to fill up with some questions, and I don't know, Danielle, if you want to talk about what happened to you yesterday or.
Well, I can't go into too much detail because obviously it's a police matter, but I do have one of the reasons we're doing this broadcast today is because of the level of intrusion Sarah and I have in our lives from people who follow the work that we produce. And I have managed, like Sarah, to accumulate a number of odd people. One in particular who has taken it upon themselves to uncover my home address and come here now twice. And when asked how this person located me, bearing in mind I only moved house just a few weeks ago, no one knows where I live. And he basically said that it was magic and that he followed the sun, which is marvelous because none of us ever need to use Google Maps again.
Wow, I could do with that gift personally. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, what an internal compass. It's just incredible.
Are you sure you shouldn't be worshipping him for godlike gifts like that?
Well, I did wonder.
Yeah.
I did wonder.
I'm sorry, I'm not making light of what you're going through.
Well, I think you just kind of have to, really, because if you get upset or if you get afraid, then they're winning, and the negative energy is just that it just feeds them. And you know, I found myself in a situation where this person is very publicly now feeling incredibly victimized. He's made a point today of saying that he feels incredibly victimized, that women have all the power and men are persecuted because they approach a woman. Well, there's approaching a woman, and then there's uncovering where she lives, traveling thousands of miles from a foreign country, turning up on her doorstep without permission, completely unannounced and uninvited, scaring the living daylights out of the person, and wondering why that person then seeks protection from the authorities.
And then they act like they're the victims, and that's really, really sad because they're freaking us out. Like, this happened to me. I think a year and a half ago, I went to the Swan, what they call the Swan Castle, and me and Max went there, and you know, his family, some of his family, and we went to stay for a vacation there, a small vacation that week. And somebody traveled all the way from France to the castle. Luckily, they did a day after I had left. And I guess because I had posted it, you know, I was at this castle, they traveled all the way there. And then they started sending me pictures of them holding knives and stuff. So it is very, very serious.
It is incredibly serious. And, you know, when I first made a point of, I had to publicly speak about it because I found myself in a position where, you know, both Sarah and I are single women. I have children, and our privacy, our safety is absolutely paramount. And to have that invaded by somebody who has no ability to respect a boundary or understand the level of intimidation that would cause to a woman. Both Sarah and I are incredibly small. And, you know, to defend ourselves would be quite a task. And to be placed in a position where somebody breaches the sanctity of your home in that manner, and then to behave like they're the victim when you're the one
completely inappropriate.
Absolutely. When, you know, and you're the one having to then watch every move you make. You're the one having to limit your life, not being able to share as publicly as you do. And really it compromises the work that you can put out, because you have to be so careful that somebody isn't then using your coordinates to locate you and hunt you down. I mean, this guy had told people, he told people, and he'd publicly posted, I've read it myself, that he was coming here to get his wife, that he was going to get married. And it was just insanity. We'd exchanged one message. It was just insane.
And for anybody, by the way, who feels like victim blaming, by the way, it is entirely inappropriate, whoever you are, whether or not you're public or private, to invade somebody else's space.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing.
And I don't want any guys to start justifying what was taking place.
I look at invaded space, you know, people who add your close family, your close friends, and message them and stuff, like, it's very weird to me. I don't do that to people. And I respect people's space, but, you know, I allow you on my social media. Don't go adding my close friends and
don't cross that boundary.
And trying to basically, it's just insanity. And then there's the ones that are now, you know, my stalker. He's contacted you, Danielle.
Absolutely, yeah. A number of times. I had another one yesterday. 94 messages in a row. It's
from him.
You know, it's. No, from somebody else. I mean, that one, Sarah, your stalker, he messaged me, I think there was 64 in a row. And what I used to actually do was just delete them. And then after what happened with me in these last few weeks, I've realized actually it's very important to keep all of these messages. So if you do find yourself in a position where one of these people does turn up or locate you, you have the evidence to give to the police, because now they take it incredibly seriously. I mean, I've ended up with a panic button in my house.
Great.
One that I can strap to my wrist.
I need it.
Sarah, honestly, go to the police and ask the one. They kept me in the police station for 5.5 hours the day it happened initially. They wouldn't let me leave.
So it cracked up just as you were talking.
Oh, and I was kept in the police station for 5.5 hours initially the first day. 3 days in a row, I had to attend the station to give statements and various things. They're still trying to locate this guy. And he's been brazen enough to contact me yesterday via text message. He's got my phone number. It's just insane.
Absolutely.
How do you think he got your phone number? And this is the thing. This is it. You know, I warn my family and friends, don't give out anything. These people, I'm sort of a whatever you want to call it, but I've got a following, and there are some crazies out there.
Absolutely.
I used to be really blessed because Max used to generally take care of them. There's all sorts. Basically, some that claim they're in a relationship with you, or you're owed to them.
Yeah.
Like, you're owed to them. God, quote, said you're going to be with me.
Well,
really?
you and I, when we discussed this the other day, Sarah, you know, I said to you, a few days ago, an ex-partner of mine had received messages from people threatening him, saying to him, if you hurt her, there's no stone will be left unturned, we'll hunt you down. I mean, how are any of us supposed to have a functioning relationship with somebody if people insist on invading our privacy and our personal lives to such a degree? I find it so, it disgusts me. I find it just, and there are people that will say, well, you put yourself out there. No, I'm sorry. Absolutely not. Absolutely. And this is some of the problem. Victim blaming. It's beyond belief.
Can I actually broaden this up? Because I mean, Danielle, I wasn't aware of what you've been through, and I am completely horrified. I have actually seen some of what Sarah's been going through, because likewise that stalker has approached me.
Yeah.
And I've had other people too do similar sorts of things. Is to recognise that these aren't just weird, bizarre outliers, and that 99.99% of guys are absolutely fine, and it's just these.
Yes.
This is a continuum. Most guys, actually are pretty decent. They're pretty reasonable, and they work. But there is a range of guys who go from the Actually, I would say, as far as the catcalling in the street, you're walking down the street, Danielle, you're very pretty, as is Sarah. Sarah has been chased by guys, certainly comments have been made to her, people treating horns. That, I would say, is to be considered as inappropriate as invading somebody's space. In a way. Would you agree? Would you think I'm being too far by saying that? Or do you think too aggressive? Or would you say that there is a point there?
I think there's a line. I mean, you know, I will have people that 99.9% of the people that interact with me are incredibly respectful. You get, it's the odd one, and it's quite often, I find, actually, we have like a filtered inbox on Facebook. It is like, honestly, if you've ever seen it, it's like opening the gates of hell. I mean,
I've had the odd message come through on that, but
hundreds.
Like
I've had, well, probably thousands.
Yeah,
and
thousands.
the majority I ignore, but it is some of it can be incredibly abusive. Some of it is just like, people will add me on Facebook and then they'll message me and instantly say, "I'm sorry, I added you because you're just so pretty." Now, it's not offensive in any way. I don't find it offensive, but I do I roll my eyes a bit, because it's a bit like, oh, come on. You know,
it's absolutely completely immature and actually not entirely appropriate.
No, I mean, you know, I guess we're just in a situation now where it used to be, back in the day, it would be if you'd walked into a bar or a club or somewhere like that and somebody had the courage to approach you, they would probably ask if you'd like a drink or something like that. Now it is just people behind computer screens have no filter, and they will instantly say, "You're pretty, I want to get to know you." Well, yes, there is attraction. It is a normal human instinct, but at the same time, it's not really appropriate.
I don't get the whole online thing. Like, there's, you know, I've recently with Max Pass, and I had to deal with a whole bunch of women quote saying they were in a relationship with him online. They never met the person. They never met him in his life. And I know he didn't give a crap about them. And basically, they have this whole thing going in their mind. But people are so lost. Like, they live basically on internet stuff. And when they see us, it's like they think we're it's personal. Like, they get to message us, and if we speak back or whatever, or if we, you know, post stuff, they think
see it as a
them.
relationship. Yeah.
Looking in the direction is seen as an invitation to go away for a quiet few hours.
Well, this is and this guy did actually say to me when he turned up at my home, and I had to confront it. I had to go downstairs and be face to face with him in order to deal with the situation without causing a huge...
It's cracking up again. Could you rewind? It cracked up. Did anybody else hear that?
No, I can hear it fine.
Sorry, carry on. Daniel, I do apologize. Carry on.
I had to go and confront this person, and he said to me, he actually made the point of saying to me, "I felt like everything you've written publicly was a signal to me to come and get you." But the thing is, however mad or whatever you want to call it, this guy appeared, the police said to me at the time, "Look, he may seem passive and he may seem just weird, but the fact is that this person went to extreme lengths to uncover where you live. There has to be intent behind that. So we're not prepared to not take this as a high risk." Now, what's interesting is in the last couple of days, he is fully aware, and he's written very publicly that he's aware that the police are involved in this situation. Yet yesterday, he sent me a text message, thanked me for my kindness, and said, "Here's my number." And it was like, you know full well what you're doing. You know the text that he sent was an intentionally passive-aggressive move to see how I would respond. And to me, that's not somebody that's insane. It's somebody that is extremely calculated, and that makes them incredibly dangerous.
Perfect. Absolutely. A predator, basically.
Yes.
Okay, we've got some questions coming in.
Go ahead.
Okay, the first question. Danielle, you mentioned panic buttons. I don't know if you know how you get a panic button installed. This person's specifically saying in the US, whether it's the same in the US and the UK, if the police, register that you you're being stalked or whatever, that they can install a panic button. I don't know if you know anything about that, Sarah.
Well, yeah. I've been registered already when I had the whole thing with some people who thought Casball go down, and they were sending threats and saying they were coming around to where I was, and somebody actually took pictures on the beach right in front of where I lived. So I'm already on the list, and I already can go ahead. If I report people, they'll take it quite seriously because of what happened back then. And in the United States too, I have this. So I'm definitely going to check about the panic button, but I am on that list that I can.
You should. Basically, what happens is when you report to the police, what happens is it goes through stages, and they have to identify a level of risk. And there's only certain actions they can take depending on what they deem the level of risk. Now, initially they said, we can't deem a level of risk, so we're going to place it as high risk to be safe rather than sorry. They've changed the law quite recently. So they have to get permission from, I think, a sergeant or I can't quite remember the level of authority it needs, but they will look at it and they will decide whether it's high risk. So, and particularly for a woman like Sarah or myself, who's quite small, lives alone, vulnerable, we would be classed as high risk, and the police will do that. I have one that actually I can put on my wrist, so when I go out, I can wear it, so that because they've given me a TACAL, which is a treat all calls as urgent. And I have it for 3 months, and then it will be reviewed depending on the case. So they gave me the panic button to wear outside, so that if for whatever reason I can't reach my phone, I can just press that.
That sounds
and they'll respond.
I am so pleased to hear that. I really am.
Okay, the next question. This is also from Jolene from JoJo.
Oh, hi JoJo.
The previous one about the panic button was from JoJo as well.
Okay.
This one is, do you ladies ever befriend another lady who seems normal but ends up stalking everything you do as well?
Yes.
Fortunately, I've never had that one. But I know Sarah has. Sarah has.
They're obviously had here.
Oh my God. I have some. Yes, it's really, really sad. And basically they try to add everybody and do all this crap. Well, I think that you've seen it. You've definitely seen it, Taj.
Actually, the closest I've had is somebody who's tried to become me and has managed to get herself a radio show, inboxed my ex-partner when we got together, told him that I was a man living in another country. Not a nice human being at all.
This one got on radio shows and tried to basically say that she belonged with Max, not me, and that I was the fake one and she was the real one and all this stuff. She's like 60 years old.
The thing is, you have to laugh because the level of insanity is just beyond belief.
This other one was basically saying that I was trying to steal her body because, and she is, I'm not trying to be mean, she's no beauty queen, but she was like, you're trying to steal my body because,
in all fairness, Sarah, I think I'd probably try to steal your body as well.
Well, you've met me in person. We know each other in person, Danielle.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and she's like, Sarah's trying. I have people messaging me. Why are you trying to steal this woman's body? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. First of all, I'm
Here's
gonna
a question. I do actually have a question for Sarah. Sarah, have you found at all, in my experience, and this has happened to me a number of times now, some of the quite prominent people within the alternative media have also become quite stalkerish towards me? Have you experienced this?
You know what? I don't think I have.
Sarah, can I interrupt, Sarah?
Let me on that part.
Sarah, can I interrupt? I think actually you have had some instances from what you've told me, but maybe you don't see them as such.
No, I don't.
One particular person who's changed, who's become much more supportive recently.
Yes. See, once they say they're sorry, I kind of, and if they stop it, I give grace on that. Until they mess it up again. And if they mess it up again, then it's finished. Because I
had one that was making like 6-hour phone calls from the other side of the world, and I just couldn't. This was like a year ago, and they've recently published a video about it, and I was furious that my privacy yet again has been compromised, and I got bombarded with messages from people calling me all kinds of hideous names because I'd stopped speaking to this person, and because they're prevalent, all the people that worship them think I'm just a horrible human being, when actually there is a backstory. I haven't spoken about it publicly, and I won't. So I've taken the abuse to not put this person in that position.
But that person was your friend. You know, they should have never put that stuff out there. No. I think even when friendships break up, you should respect the other person.
Were they a friend?
Petty. Well, I'm sorry to say that word, but they are fucking petty.
I tried to be friends with this person, but they became so obsessive with me that I had to cut contact.
Yes, that happens to me. Yes,
and it's just been continuous.
I like space. I have to have my space to be okay. People don't understand this. If they don't have attention every single day or every other day, lots of them will get mad about it.
People do not understand the energetic draining on an energy level. It is incredibly exhausting to be interacting with such a vast number of people. Every interaction we have is an exchange of energy, and it drains us completely. Sarah and I both have private lives. I have children. You know, we need a break, and people just do not appreciate that.
And actually, to build on what you're saying, because I've done some work of my own. I do card readings, for example, and I've been involved in ministry work. It's not actually a conversation you're having with somebody else. Every interaction involves an exchange of energy. But to be a supportive person, a light worker, a healer, or however you describe it, is trebly draining. It's not even doubly draining. It's
absolutely.
And we all of us have to become very strong and determined to maintain our own personal boundaries and to say no. The word no, actually, I think sometimes has become a more important part of our vocabulary.
Yes, very much so. And I think at first I struggled with that an awful lot. And then I reached a point where I had to just switch off. I've probably got nearly 3,000 messages in my Facebook inbox alone, and people will repeatedly message you if you don't respond. Sometimes they get angry.
Yes, they'll be really mean
because they don't appreciate that not only have you got like 5,000 to 10,000 people following you on Facebook, you have Twitter, Instagram, you have your YouTube channel to keep up with, the interviews you do, all of those things. I do personal card readings as well, and healing and all kinds of stuff. So we are drained consistently, and to maintain our own energy is quite exhausting. And people honestly don't realize that they are just one out of maybe 5,000-10,000 people that want to interact with you.
Yeah.
They just don't get it.
Can I throw in a question there? Sorry, Charles, carry on.
Sorry, do either of you have any experience with gang stalking? Have either of you been gang stalked?
I don't know about you, Daniel.
Why do you think that happens, though? Why do a group of people gang up on you?
I think it's sort of, in my experience, I think it's entities or possession, really, and they're trying to suppress those who are speaking out. And basically, that's consciousness, or those entities, darker entities, will possess the person and use them as a tool against the said target.
I've had it, but actually I've had it from groups within the alternative media, or people that follow the alternative media.
I get it from in the alternative media too, and I just get some of the rudest stuff. I love people. I spend so much time trying to help people. I have lupus. I can't be stressed. Lupus is, if you stress, it gets really, really bad. So sometimes I just have days where I just don't want to speak to anybody. I need to have my space. So I'm okay. And people, they don't understand this. They don't understand. I try to put out very spiritual, inspirational stuff that's, helpful and healing and things like that. I can't keep up with everything and everyone. I love people deeply. I've done so much for people. I do a lot for people, but I need my space. And this is the sad part, is people don't understand that we've got all these people inboxing us. I can't message you back all day. No. I respond to your message once or twice. That's a lot. If you look in my inbox, I can screenshot it.
Oh, there's times where I would love to publish my inbox just so people were aware.
And not even the messages, just a list of headers that you've got. showing up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but you'll get like, you know, I have situations where I have 20 to 60 to 80, 90 messages from one person in a row that I haven't responded to. And, you know, when you just think, if somebody doesn't respond to me, that's it. You know, but they don't understand that they're just not the only. And I feel a bit mean. I feel like this is us kind of having a go at people and being a bit bratty. That's not the case at all. I would just like people to understand that there is a boundary. There is a time where we need to switch off and we need to be away from it. And I just want people to understand that we're not being rude if we do not respond. There's only so many hours in the day, and probably like Sarah, because we have people from all around the world, it's not a 9 to 5 deal. During the night, my inbox is still filling up. I wake up in the morning and I've got 20 or 30 messages.
Isn't it insane when people are like, what are you doing? You know, they can see it's the middle of the night. What are you doing? Why aren't you answering? Well,
I know,
look at the time.
I know when Sarah's offline, sometimes when she turns her phone on, you have to wait like half an hour for all the notifications to come in.
I've switched off notifications now because I have my phone on silent permanently because I just can't. And then I have my close friends who inbox me on Messenger and I miss their messages because I just don't see them come up because there's so many, you know?
Can I then flip this slightly, because this is a hugely key issue that I am very aware of, and I've seen people in this work and as I say, clergy type work actually become completely burned out of this. And I always thought that one of the best things that I can do for Sarah, for example, is to provide a safe space. Is to be somebody that she knows. She says, I need space. She never has to justify it. She knows it's going to be good. And I hope I do a good job. But I actually want to say, how important is it for both of you to try and actually reach out and find those sorts of people? Or do you rely more upon your own ability just to close the door and just pull the blanket over your heads and just make the world go away?
Do you know, actually, that's a really wonderful question. And I'm really glad you asked that, because this has been something for me very lately that I have really begun to ponder on, because I don't have any family. I don't have a partner. I have one close friend that lives locally. So other than that, I am completely on my own, which A, has put me in quite a vulnerable position, and B, I do not have anybody. You know, I'm doing all of this and I'm a single parent. And
that's a trouble though, isn't it?
Yeah, and I do not have anybody to turn to when I'm exhausted. Like today, I'm very tired. My ex-partner, actually, he's really good to me. He humours me immensely. He lives over in America, and he puts up with me when I I had a bit of a whine and a whinge last night, and he tried to make me laugh a bit, and I was a bit stroppy.
Right. Can we not say whine and whinge, but call it offloading? Because I think you're probably absolutely justified in what you're saying.
Yeah, and I don't really do that. I'm not somebody that offloads, and I have found that one or two people, when I do go to offload, just kind of go, they're just a bit perplexed and don't really know what to do with me. And I don't think people appreciate the level of pressure that I'm actually under.
Yeah.
And I have made it very clear to people in my life recently that I would like someone in my life. I would like a partner. I've been on my own for many years. And it would be lovely to have somebody at the end of the day to just go, oh, God, I'm so tired. Or, oh, this is so stressful. And it's something that's really lacking in my life at the moment. So for me, it is very much a 24/7, suck it up, have to deal with it on my own deal.
Right. Do you not therefore have any sort of real support network? I mean, obviously, having a partner is great. But I think having one person who can do everything, it's probably almost as remarkable as finding you who does do everything.
Yeah. No, I don't have the support network at all. It's literally just me.
Right. I had to set up a support network because for me, especially with Max passing away and all the insanity that went down and all the people who create all sorts of, I don't know if you get that. People basically called me an escort. There's people who are doing fake messages, which you can make online using my profile picture, calling me an escort, calling me this, calling me that.
There's lots of fake profiles in my name as well.
Yes, and it was insane. So I had to get a support group, and had to go ahead and have them help me out, and basically some of them approached the people that were saying this stuff about me and told them off,
See, that's what I would really like, is to have some people that would be able to fight my corner. That's what I feel that I'm lacking very much in my life at the moment, is someone
it's
to
really
fight
hard
my
to
corner.
trust people because people will approach you. It's really hard, and especially being out there, you don't know if that friend you made, unless you've had them for years, the new friend you made, if they're going to turn on you and put your public business out there because, they get upset that you're not doing what they want or whatever, because they've approached you with ulterior motives. And I'm very careful about people like this, because I've had a few enter my life, of which one admitted doing black magic on me to try to get, somebody that loved me away from me. They basically said I was your friend and I was doing black magic on you, and I had suspected it, and they just admitted it recently.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's the thing, I get, probably like Sarah, I get a lot of messages from men who are interested in taking me on dates, for instance. My default setting is absolutely no, because I never, you can never know if somebody genuinely wants to get to know you or if they have an ulterior motive. And it sounds paranoid, and that's not what I mean. I just do not want to be a glorified partner to somebody. If somebody comes into my life, it's very much because I want that to be a personal, private thing. And when I did have a partner, I loved posting on Facebook that I had someone in my life, because it was so much fun for me. But the personal stuff, the personal relationship, the stuff you talk about, the stress of the day, all of those things to me are sacred. They're absolutely sacred. And I would not want that in the public arena.
No.
So it can be really very difficult to find somebody genuine to have in your life.
But actually, maybe to a certain extent, we're starting to see that forming of a support network. Listening to you two, for example, you and Sarah talking, and how much you actually relate with each other's experiences. I can't help but thinking, you've got to start to be able to say, well, at least there's somebody else up there who understands the shit that I'm going through.
I get it, Dad, because, I have very few close friends, first of all, maybe 3 to 4. And, other people claim they're close to me. They're not. And that's just the truth. I have 3 to 4 close friends. And it's really sad, because even online, having them online, on my friends list, having them there, people approach them. Lots of, I have these 4 friends, and people approach them. To even some of these people, girls stalk these guys online. If they're guys, my guy friends, they'll stalk them and basically do anything to try to get close to them, to try to get crap on me and try to yank them away. That's insanity. It's just insanity.
I had it with my partner that I had. But, people were inboxing him, telling him that I was a narcissist, telling him that I was a man in drag. You name it. You name it.
You would have thought he'd have spotted it by now, wouldn't you? Really?
Well, he did actually say to this person, I can absolutely assure you that she's definitely not a man. Yeah.
I've tested it for myself.
Yeah. But it was just that level of intrusion astounded me. And this was somebody who's tried to make a name for themselves within the alternative media.
Well,
and she's stolen my work. She's gone to, I mean, I try very hard to not feel any aggression or any of those sorts of things within myself when people like this come along. But I'm so fiercely protective of my personal space.
Oh, I am
because I have so little of it that I just if she'd have been standing in front of me, I probably would have punched her, if I'm honest.
I have enough attention without the internet attention, just walking around. I have people that follow me. I've got all sorts of stuff like that. Well, Richard knows, Taj knows. I get sort of stuff all the time. Just walking down the street, people will follow me. I've had people follow me in airports, people who try to get flights to sit next to me. So generally I'm used to kind of trying to duck out of the attention like that and try to get away. Oh, you're nice, you're lovely, but I've got to go, please. inside like, please.
And we forget as guys that actually when you're doing that, you're also got at the back of your mind, I'm being nice, they're being nice, but if I say no, will that niceness stop?
Yes.
And I think as guys, we forget that we are not all gentlemen.
No.
We're not the ones who have to face it. You are the ones who actually have to face it if the mine goes off or the hand grenade goes off in your face. Somebody's going to cycle on you.
Absolutely.
So it's there's a lot of unwanted attention, and people say, well, you manifested that to yourself, but if you light a light in the darkness, it's going to attract moths too. Not only is it going to light the darkness, it's going to attract the moths and bugs and everything else.
Absolutely, and it is that whole blame the victim mentality. People want people out there putting the truth out. They want people out there guiding them and giving them advice and whatever. Yet when the tables turn and we actually have the audacity to say, please do not breach my personal space, they're horrified by the fact that how dare you, and they don't understand. It doesn't matter what job, I don't care what job you're doing. If somebody walked into your office, approached you and said, I saw you in the supermarket and I've been following you for days, I thought I'd come and say hi. You'd be mortified. What makes us any different to that?
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing.
With everything that went down, I've had to deal with a group of absolutely insane, crazy women that were obsessed with him. Some have it in their heads, that they were married to him. It's insanity, first of all, and definitely no stunners in that group either. Which is and they're telling me, he didn't love you, and I'm like here like laughing like an idiot.
Well, this is it, because like I said to you the other day, Sarah, I've seen you and Max together.
Yes,
you couldn't have seen. That man was so in love with you. It was beyond belief. Stevie Wonder could see it. I mean, honestly, it's just ridiculous.
Well, Taj saw his messages 3 hours before he died.
Yeah, and they were pretty positive, those messages. Yeah.
Taj was like, well, he didn't plan on dying, that's for sure.
Exactly. And this is the thing, there was all this nonsense. I remember at the time the chaos of people putting all different kinds of stuff out and just thinking, Jesus, I'm
having to deal with this. And, I did separate from him around last Christmas because I had to straighten up. And he tried to get me back every single day. And right before he died, I did accept, to get back with him just 3 days before. And he was so happy. And I have these really ridiculous women who've never met him in person who are sending me hate mail saying, basically, he never loved you. He da-da-da. And I'm like, absolutely.
And it doesn't occur to them that you're grieving the loss of the love of your life.
No, they're wrapped up in they're
selfish, horrible sort of people. And it's really, really sad because I've never done them wrong in my life, and I wouldn't do that to them. If they lost somebody they loved, I would not do that to them.
Yeah, I mean, and the first thing people said to me when this whole stalker thing started a few weeks ago was, well, you've somehow attracted this into your life. You need to work out how. No, absolutely not. Like Sarah said, moths to a flame. When you are well known or when your face is known by lots of people, you are bound just purely by the law of average that somebody is going to be a loopy one.
You're going to get that. It happens, and it's basically, it's not because we manifested it. It's basically because there are some crazies in the world.
Yeah. When you're having messages from somebody who says, oh, you blocked me on Facebook, so I guess you must be getting the interdimensional messages from me instead. And you're just like...
Really?
Honestly, I mean, but there's part of me, Sarah, there is, on occasion, there is part of me that thinks, I wonder if that really is what's happening to them. You can't help but wonder at times.
There does seem to be, therefore, a number of different reasons why people act in ways that me, as an innocent bystander, sees as entirely crazy. Some of it is down-and-out craziness. For whatever, there are personality issues where they can't separate their internal fantasy world from the reality world that goes on around them. And I think we've seen that in both of your stalkers. what worried me, particularly with the loss of Max, is that there are a number of people who tried to link their names to him because they wanted to get the fame. They wanted to claim to fame, and were trying to hijack it and to become keepers of the Max flame almost. I was the last person to speak to Max, therefore you must come to me and get adequate information. Is that something that you've seen?
I saw that happen, yeah.
I was basically dissed on a Carrie Cassidy show that Max didn't want anything to do with me. Find me that the hundreds of messages and other stuff he sent me prove otherwise, and the fact he called his mom the day before he died to tell his mom I'm the love of his life basically proves otherwise.
The Carrie Cassidy show. But the Carrie Cassidy show wasn't her being crazy.
This girl went on there. I don't know this girl in my life. I hadn't heard her name in my life. This girl went on there and basically dissed me really, really badly as Max wanted nothing to do with me and how horrible a person I was. Mind me, I didn't even know her ever. But lots of people are trying to make a name for themselves, and they're thinking that dissing us or trying
without
mentioning, bring them somewhere.
Without mentioning names, Sarah, I had a look at that woman you mentioned to me the other day, and via outward appearance, she would seem like a very nice, ordinary woman. The stuff she posts is quite ordinary. It's, nothing outwardly on her Facebook would make her appear to be a lunatic. I only know she is because of what you told me. This is how easy it is.
Are we talking about the one that claimed that I took her body off?
I can't remember which one that was, but there was
certainly one of them.
I don't want to name names publicly.
I'm not going to name names either, but please don't do it.
Any resemblance to people living or dead is purely coincidental.
Yeah.
Can we take, guys, can we move on to another subject? I think we've been talking about this for a bit now. We've got some questions about the law of attraction and a few other things.
Okay, go on.
Back to the topic again.
The next question, are there any thoughts about the limiting beliefs being what stops the law of attraction to work as it can? So, I don't know who wants to take that first.
I'm happy to take it, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Limiting beliefs, basically translated into energy, because basically everything is energy. Every word we speak, every action we take, everything is energy. So a limiting belief, basically translated into energy, is a blockage. It is resistance to receiving that which you desire. So when you're using your thought process, it's not the thoughts we have that manifest into our reality. It is the feelings associated with the thought that actively it activates the vibration. So the dominant thought and the feeling associated with it will be your point of alignment. So if you could be saying in your head a million times over, I want a Ferrari. If you feel in any way like you're not going to get it, like it's not going to be delivered, if you have any form of blockage, will stop it from coming to you. Your thought needs to be dominant. It doesn't need to be always, it just needs to be the dominant thought and the feelings associated with it. So you have to practice the vibration in order for it to become active and for it to expand. Because as soon as you have a thought and a desire, you will immediately, as human beings, this is what we do, there will immediately be a contradictory thought and feeling as to why it will not manifest into your reality. If that makes sense.
Can I ask a question about that? Because this is something that I'm not somebody who feels personally in tune with manifesting things, but that's a very personal thing. Having said that, you talked about it being necessary to have the key, the strong thought, the dominant thought, the thought that overwhelms the negativity almost, if I hear you right.
Yes.
But therefore, the first thing to do is become aware of what drives us. Would you say that's true? It's no point just wake up one morning and say, I want a Ferrari. If in actual fact your real passion is helping children in Africa.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the Ferrari is just an example.
I completely understand that, but I think it's a good example to use, actually. Yeah.
And you can't manifest if you don't have the energy to manifest. So basically, if you want to manifest, you're going to have to charge it with energy, and that means cleaning Yes, lots of
cleaning,
juice and lots of yes.
Cleaning your body. Your body is obviously it's a vibration as well, and if it's not clean, it does make the process longer. Personally, my diet's not great. I eat a lot of cake. I smoke, but I also am very, very, very efficient at manifesting. I mean, I can, smaller things that are insignificant, I can manifest within a day, 2-3 days. Bigger things take maybe a few more weeks, but I'm very efficient at it. And it's because I have come to the understanding after reading a book by Anita Moorjani called Dying to Be Me, that you can actually pump anything into your body if your vibration is clear, if you have a complete understanding of your infinite self. Right. Nothing can physically harm your body. Now, I don't want people to take that in a literal sense so that they can just think in an instant, oh, I'm the universe, I can pump poison into myself. No, don't do it. No, please don't do it. It's just ridiculous. This is something that takes an immense amount of training to do. And we manifest by default. Yeah. So any thought, feeling we're having, we are aligning. The universe is just throwing at us what we're aligning with. People don't understand that they're a mirror, that they are, when you ask the universe, when you're speaking in your own mind, when you're having a thought and it's the feelings associated to it, you are aligning with the universe and it will deliver what you're, if you're single and you want a partner and all you do is think, I'm so lonely, I'm so alone, I'm so alone, all the universe can give you is being alone, more of being alone, and it'll expand. You have to retrain your brain, and here's where it's difficult. Most people cannot and will not be bothered to put the time into doing that because it's a painful process at times.
Why is it painful?
Because you almost have to MK Ultra yourself.
It's true, because this is why people stay in really bad situations and don't get out, because they can't cope with, reprogramming themselves to something
their own
better.
Thought processes. We are trained from the day we're born to see life from an angle of lack.
So people will stay in unhappy marriages, they'll stay in unhappy situations, all sorts, just because of this.
Absolutely. So we see life completely in terms of lack, no matter what we're doing. When we make loads of money, our first thought is, oh crap, I better not spend it. Oh, I better hoard it. I better save it because I've got this bill, I've got that bill. That's resistance. Anything that is looking towards lack is resistance. So there's training processes that, like thought training processes that you go through in order to change your negative thought processes into positive. And the more you change them into positive, the more the feeling associated with it becomes good, and the more efficient and the clearer your energy is in order for things to be delivered to you.
Are there any books or videos that you can recommend?
Marvelous ones. Watch? Neville Goddard is probably one of my favourites. He was...
That's Conversations with God, is that right?
Yes, and The Twin Harvests.
Sarah, you actually bought one of his books the last couple of days.
I bought it a day ago, yes.
Yeah, he's wonderful. YouTube, he's lots of people have uploaded his stuff onto YouTube. He has this amazing British colonial accent. He was around in the 30s, 40s, 50s. He's just a marvel. Louise Burleigh is another of my favourites. Right. There is a really good book for thought changing exercises is actually The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. Now, I've never read The Secret. I don't advocate it, but The Magic is very good because it's about how to change those thought processes. Louise Hay, How You Can Heal Your Life is wonderful for thought changing. And what's the other? I've got another one. Abraham Hicks. They are fabulous.
Yes. Is it possible? I'm just thinking, it's possible you could actually, I know you are busy, you could just type out those titles so we can have a list, or just the names of the authors, and
absolutely.
Put it at the bottom of this video, of this chat, because once it's uploaded, that's such a key resource.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rather than people constantly ask the same question. Right?
Yeah, no
That'd
problem.
Be wonderful.
Danielle, other than limiting beliefs, what else can stop the law of attraction from working?
It is literally just your resistance. That's the only thing that can stop it. Your resistance, your negative thought processes and your resistance. The universe is delivering to you every single minute of every single day. Your alignment is we're in permanent contact with the universe. Every thought, feeling, every millisecond of our day, we're aligning. So it is literally just resistance. It's not an on-off switch. It's constantly running. It's just about how in tune with it you are.
It's a product of our connection of being alive.
Absolutely.
Okay, next question is, what is the biggest surprise or change that you have manifested in your life through the law of attraction?
I use a lot of visualization in my manifestation processes. So I decided that I wanted a partner in my life. So I wrote a list of what I wanted. This was probably around somewhere between October and December of last year. And I'd just written out a list of how I wanted to feel in a relationship. And I'd added silly things like I'd like him to have really nice eyes, a nice smile, and an accent, like a foreign accent. Then I started to visualize myself on the beach. And you have to make the visualization feel quite real. So feel your feet in the sand, smell the sea, feel the wind on your face, the sun in your eyes, all of those things. And I'd made a vision board on Pinterest, just added lots of things about what I'd like to do with that partner in my relationship. And I'd added like Las Vegas, because I'd been there before, and I thought that would be a really cool thing to do with somebody. In January, unaware to me, somebody who'd been on my Facebook for about a year left quite a nice comment on a photo of mine, and I inboxed him, and I thought, quite like the look of him, so I inboxed him. We had a chat, and you know, he'd been there for about a year, and I hadn't said anything because I thought it was terribly unprofessional. And we had a chat, and he said, well, where in England are you? And I said, I live in London. And he said, oh, I live in Las Vegas. Still didn't twig.
Whoa.
Didn't twig at all. Okay. And then within about 2 weeks, I'd said to him, well, if you ever come over to London, he said, I've never been to Europe. I said, well, if you ever come over, let me know. I'll show you around. Within 2 months, the conversation just continued non-stop from that point. Within 2 months, he was on a plane. He came here. And we had a week here. We went to Paris, went to the Moulin Rouge, did all of these amazing things. And then he flew me back to Las Vegas with him. And I eventually, there's a video on my Facebook of it. And I was stood on that beach with my feet in the water, with the sun on my face, with the man next to me.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. It was an awesome video.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it did come into my reality. And he was everything that I asked the universe for. And the trip, it will deliver to you in a way that you cannot possibly imagine. So that one thing, I'd even visualized myself walking on like a thick carpet. And it didn't occur to me until actually a few weeks ago. This was back in April. It didn't occur to me until a few weeks ago that carpet was in his bedroom.
Wow.
So, yeah. Right. And I'd visualized myself on a really high bed. His bed was really high off the ground, and I had to kind of clamber to climb onto it. So all of these things that I'd visualized appeared, but it will deliver in ways you couldn't possibly imagine. So I'd visualized myself on a beach. Is there an element
almost that the universe, that you are visualizing things and the universe is tucking in, almost like echoes back of what is going to happen?
Absolutely, say, but it
you're on the right track. There are things that you are visualizing. It didn't occur to you to visualize. Or you think, why am I visualizing it?
Yes,
and then
I did.
I know when it's there. I say, remember that? Tap, tap, tap.
Yep. But what it will do is it will deliver it to you in a way that you couldn't possibly imagine. Just the most spectacular way. So in between all of that, I was hiking in Utah and went to Disneyland and California and Paris, and just the most exceptional trip across the world with this amazing guy. Out of 2 to 3 visualizations that I did for 3 minutes a day for a week.
There is, I know many people don't like this idea of throwing in Bible verses, but there is a verse that comes to mind, which is, I shall give you a blessing poured into the cup, overflowing, shaken down and pressed down. It's
absolutely.
That sense of, it's not just a half cup of water and because you're thirsty. It's that you can't get any more in your cup. And I'm still pouring it in.
Yeah, and this is the point. The Bible, people dismiss the Bible completely. If they're non-religious, they dismiss it. The Bible is absolutely telling you that we are God. Each one of us is a god, a goddess, and we create the life we have because we are created by that source, whether you see it as God in the technical sense or as in the universe, spirit, source,
divine,
whatever, the divine, whatever it is. the fact is that is a user manual. That Bible is a user manual to creating your own existence, your own reality.
Thank you.
Okay, Sarah, do you practice the law of attraction at all?
Yes, all the time. I'm actually quite good at it, but you know, it's like if I think, you know, I'll be walking. I like to say that God blesses me and always, like, sort of takes care of me. But sometimes, you know, I'll see something, I'll think, oh, I'd really like to have that, and then people will give me 3-4 versions of it, or it'll pop up everywhere.
That can be the problem. Yeah, I saw a great meme the other day of a rabbit, and it was surrounded by 1 million carrots. And it said manifesting level expert, and that's happened to me before. I had that with my Turkish neighbour. She'd given what were they? Vine leaves, stuffed vine leaves, and I was like, oh my god, I love these. I want some vine leaves. By the end of the week, I had 4 huge stock pots full of them. I was like, I can't take
eat anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. You must have really liked them to manifest that level.
Yeah, they were lovely.
Okay,
but I think the other thing is, sorry, just quickly, is gratitude. Yeah. You have to be grateful for everything. Thank you, constantly, because you have to appreciate what you're given, because if you don't,
that is literally the other side of the coin, isn't it? It's not going to constantly asking, because your hands are full with clutching. You've also got to and does gratitude also include generosity?
You have, it's the principle of the cycle. You must be a giver in order to receive. You are a mirror. Everything that comes into your existence is a mirror. So in order to receive, you must give, and you must give in abundance, which is what Sarah and I do with our work. We are constantly in that state of giving, which speeds up the manifestation process, because if you're not giving, there's no cycle, there's no circle.
No.
That's why I'm about to give a lot of pretty dresses and pretty clothes away tomorrow when I go through my things.
Who to? A bunch of 5-year-olds?
Oh, nice one. Can I just add something to that, to what you just said, that, Danielle and Sarah? My area, one of my areas of expertise, is the runes. And the very first rune is the rune Thetu, which we get the word fee, for example, associated with gold, wealth, and cattle. And there is a rune poem that goes back to the early 1000s, and it says in that, you know, it's not enough just to have the gold. If you want to make a name for yourself, you've got to give it away. And that wisdom that you talked about is 2,000 years old wisdom. This is not just a modern thing. It's right from the very beginning. The very first rune is the old foot.
Yeah. The ancients absolutely knew. They came here completely connected, and the only reason we've lost our connection is because of the system that's been put in place in order for us to not know who we are intentionally. If everybody was creating their existence on purpose, the system would not be able to function on any level.
I suppose they're trying to fill the needs in our existence.
Exactly. If everybody was divinely empowered like they're supposed to be, the system would not exist. It would not be able to exist.
Nope.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, another question from Jolene. Okay. Did either of you ladies ever sort of download the law of attraction before The Secret ever came out? She had the experience that driving across country and downloaded the energy platform to it. Did this happen to either Danielle or Sarah?
Well, I've always done it. I just wasn't aware that I was doing it. And actually, it was Sarah that connected me to the law of attraction after we'd done a Basis Project interview.
Right.
We talked about it. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember we talked about it. I think I've always done it since I was young. I see it a bit differently. I don't call it the law of attraction. I just call it like sort of divine blessings or stuff like that. The way I call it.
Okay. I mean, my own experience of the law of attraction is you tend to sort of attract, you know, what you put out almost, isn't it? It's
that is exactly what we do. We're just a mirror.
Yeah. So if you're putting out, you know, like negative stuff, it'll basically just come back to you, wouldn't it? So
tenfold. But it doesn't just come back to you; it comes back tenfold. So if you're negative, you will be in a whole world of hurt. If you're positive, your life will shine like there's no tomorrow.
Mm. Yeah, that sort of makes sense. I think people don't understand that you can be a negative. Some people think you can be a negative person and still use the law of attraction to attract things to you.
Well, you are. You're just doing it in a really crap way.
like a dodgy connection on a.
Well, you have to think that
the connection is absolutely there.
Okay,
you're just using it back to front.
Well, yeah,
there's a lot of wealthy people who are still in energy through different ways and using that energy then to manifest, their riches.
Uh-huh.
A lot of elite do this. A lot of elite do this. They're stealing all of the, all these people who praise the Kardashians and stuff. They don't realize that all the energy is going to them to keep them rich and to give them more riches.
Absolutely, it just makes
they're using their energy they can manifest their own stuff with and their own lives with to celebrities a lot.
Somebody else. Can I actually point out that this is a key, that we talk about manifesting and talk about being positive for manifesting, but I for me, and I don't know whether you guys would agree with this, just because somebody is successful and doing well does not mean necessarily they're manifesting from a point of goodness or healthiness.
Or dignity.
No, absolutely.
Is not the same as manifesting.
Absolutely. They just understand that they can acquire wealth and that wealth comes to them. And the more you believe that and the better they feel about it, it's going to come to them. There's the whole thing of good and evil in this world clearly doesn't stop people from manifesting good stuff. You do not have to be a pure good spirit in order to manifest riches. All you have to do is absolutely know that you are capable of attracting wonderful stuff.
But when you see, for example, and this is actually for me a real moral question. You see, for example, a televangelist in the States saying, if you want to be blessed, you send me your money and you will be blessed. Are they manifesting? And is it right for them to equate, you are blessed when you have financial wealth. Therefore, I must have been blessed because I've got financial wealth. Therefore, God loves me.
Right.
It all depends on their personal belief system, I guess, on how they're aligned. If they believe that they are, if it makes them happy and they're grateful for conning people, then it will. Unfortunately, the universe doesn't have. It doesn't have a judgment system. It doesn't look at bad people and say, right.
It doesn't.
You're not getting this.
Absolutely.
All it can do is reflect. So you can be, for all intents and purposes, a complete arsehole with no moral compass. But if you're grateful for what you've received, you're going to get more. Sorry.
So it is all about manifestation.
Yeah.
But recognizing the manifestation doesn't always come from a good place.
No, absolutely.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks.
Okay, next question. Is there anything that you ladies do to help people from afar or remotely? This is from La Verite, and they also asked...
In what sense?
Like, she said that she had someone break down.
I'll take this one.
She was talking to someone and they broke down on the phone, and she wanted to do something to help them.
Okay, yes.
She didn't know what she could do from afar.
I'll take this one.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so one with me, I always speak about how I have something called quantum, almost like in Quantum Leap. Is that the series?
Mm-hmm.
Where I wind up in other people's bodies, in other timelines or stuff like that, and I have to help them out of trouble. I also, sometimes I was saying, there were two people last month I had helped out, well, a bit past last month, that I had help out with suicide. Basically what I just do, I just go and change their thoughts. I'm able to do that. That's the only, if it's that bad, I will go in and put in, good thoughts about how they should live life, how they should basically, try to be a bit more happier, take out the suicidal thoughts. So I've learned how to do that because I can affect people's thoughts. You can sit there and concentrate on doing that, concentrate on sending them energy, and concentrate on instilling thoughts within them that they will heal and they won't harm themselves. So yes, and that will really affect them. Just, and usually people who are suicidal are low on energy. So giving them an energy boost will push them out of that frequency and also change it really quickly to different frequency and a different timeline where they won't hurt themselves.
I've the only similar kind of thing I do is I'm able to enter people's dreams, and I was actually I was unaware. I was completely unaware of this until probably about 2 months ago, when maybe I ended up with maybe 10 to 15 people who came to me in the space of 4 or 5 days and said, "You were in my dream last night. You guided me towards this, or the answer to this, or to that." Or I was like, "Did I? Really, great, that's fabulous."
That's really nice to say that, Danielle.
I'm actually projecting a lot.
I have a friend who said you came into their dreams a few days ago.
Oh, really?
I thought it was a bit weird, but
no, it's very normal for me to hear that now. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Remind me the other dreams that that certain people are having that are explicit. We're not doing that. That's their own imagination.
Well, I was going to say, are we coming back to the very first issue that we raised? The stalker who turns around and says, "But you were talking to me in my dreams."
Yeah. No, I haven't had that one yet, but
I've had it.
It's just the subliminal interdimensional messages, apparently.
Oh God, I've had it where they were like, since you can astral project, you can do outer body experiences. Don't you lie to me. I know you're coming in my dreams and taking advantage of me at night.
Yeah.
Probably some women or something. I'm not.
Do you know, I've just never even considered trying that. Maybe I will. I astrally,
there you go. That'll fix your, that'll fix having a partner.
I have a lot of out of body experiences, and a few weeks ago, I astrally projected out of my body. It was about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was so kind of dozy that I shot out of my body at such high speed that I thought I was going to slam into the bathroom wall. And I remember this feeling of sheer panic hit me, like, oh my God, and I kind of braced myself, ready to hit the wall. And then I woke up and, I was back where I was. But it was actually Sarah who taught me how to astrally project.
I did. I remember you talking about that. And
I became like the biggest nosy neighbor in town. I was projecting into other people's bodies just to see what was going on.
I am sorry. I'm not sure I can condone that.
I know.
I just don't. Sometimes I'm like, oh my, I am absolutely horrified at some of the things people think.
I just remember thinking, shit, your wife is as cold as ice.
So you smile a bit more warmly next day when you see him, thinking, I feel sorry for you. I feel your pain.
I pity you, my friend.
I mean, to be fair though, Sarah, you are very good, Sarah, at not deliberately. I mean, you said to me, there are certain people you will never get into their heads. You'll never even think about trying. Is that right?
No, there's just people at first that I don't want to. Otherwise, sometimes it just happens automatically. And then I won't do that to my close friends. I love them too much.
Do you find, Sarah, that it's more difficult to do it with people you're incredibly connected to?
I find that I'd prefer not to do it, because if I did do it and, I'd find something that I don't like, that it would be quite hurtful. So I'd rather not do that in the past.
I often joke with Sarah that she can't actually get into my head.
Is that a threat or a promise or a hope?
I have not tried yet. Do not tempt me on trying.
I do it slightly differently, actually, Sarah. I tend not to astrally project on purpose now. What I do is I just put my hand on someone's heart and I can read exactly what's going on in their head.
I can do it by touching people or touching objects. I can read stuff, but basically otherwise I said I never sleep. I'm waking up in some other timeline or some other, it's the 1900s. Yesterday we went to a restaurant and I was there. We went to a pub restaurant in London, and oddly enough it was from it was across from Hyde Park, which is ISIS. It has the ibis bird Isis statue in it. I took a picture with. Anyhow, we were in there and I was sitting there and we were trying to get some food, and I said, I don't know if this is my memory or if it's a ghost, but I was transported to another era. And I was a woman dressed in blue, and I had walked into there, and I went to see my husband, and I had a little child. Now, I think I was picking up on one of the ghosts, because when I went to use the ladies' room, I saw a grandmother ghost in the bathroom. Stuff happens to me all the time.
It was the ghost whisperer.
The ghost whisperer.
It's worse than the ghost whisperer. If I go around a cemetery, they literally follow me and start telling me all this stuff, I've got to, please, there's
You're the
too many
ghost
Chinese
whisperer,
names.
right? I appear to be the fuckface whisperer. Sorry.
I think, Taj, we need another question.
Yeah.
On that note.
Okay. The next question is probably more aimed for Sarah. How to protect against psychic attacks?
You know,
Or like normal people rather than.
I've got somebody I've got, somebody that I call my Gandalf who helps me. Richard knows about that.
I have a Gandalf as well, yeah.
Yes, because sometimes it does get overwhelming, and I've learned that. And I've learned that no matter what herbs I take, you can take valerian, sage, it does help. And even, magnesium helps, but sometimes you just need somebody else.
I've got my own sage dealer. I really have. Honestly, I have.
You just need somebody to step in and to take over. Even when you're being stalked, and that person needs to, be threatened to leave you alone, because sometimes it goes there. You do need to have another 1 or 2 people in your life that and trust fully that can step in for you. So that's one of the best protections I found so far.
And
other
that's
than
what I need, yeah.
herbs and you can do a golden bubble around yourself, and put
I
mirrors
have
on
a
the
friend
outside.
in America who makes cloaks for me. He sends me cloaks and stuff.
My cloaks come in. Yes.
Oh, we're talking real cloaks, are we?
No, energy cloaks.
Energy cloaks. Right. Okay.
I do those, and I've got real cloaks coming in just to reinforce.
I had you had a walk-in wardrobe of different kinds of clothes.
I will be when I fly back to the United States. I'm definitely wearing a long white cloak and cotton. That's beautiful. So I'm going to look like, what's her name out of Lord of the Rings, the elven princess there.
O'Neill. Oh, Gwen. Yes, yeah.
Yes.
We just need the circlet with the diamond hanging down between your eyes.
Hopefully, customs won't stop me.
Yeah.
I think we ought to give you a rune staff as well, actually.
Oh God, they're really going to stop me now.
Yeah, they're going to stop me now. I was actually quite worried when I flew to America, to be honest, because when I realised I was going to fly over, I thought, shit, I wonder if they'll give me a visa. You have to do this online Esther thing now, don't you? And my partner at the time, he's very vocal in the alternative scene, and has got himself in quite a lot of trouble with the local sheriff and stuff. And I just said to him, I looked at him and I said, we're getting on a plane together. Is this actually going to happen? Are they going to let us go? And they did. They did. We were all right.
That's really good to know, because it doesn't always have to be.
I only had issues this last time because this guy was weird, but they did want to ask me questions about Max. Oddly enough, all the questions they asked me were about Max, and he basically, she wanted to almost like they took a statement about what the people that are involved in this and what I had experienced with this. They wanted a sort of a statement. It was odd. She made like a statement there, so I'm fine. But oddly enough, I always get really blessed because my luggage is always, it's more than, I'm a lady. I'm always trying to take lots of lady things.
More than you taking.
A lampshade, a kitchen sink.
Yeah.
And I have all these supplements and superfoods, and some of it looks like drugs. Some of it does look like cocaine. I
didn't want to bring my sage home or my coconut oil or anything like that. I was like, oh God.
I do, and you know what? They're really lucky because I'm really blessed because they're just so nice, and they'll often come and tape red tape or yellow tape on it, say, even though it's extra, we're gonna let it pass, and then they put me in good seats. I really kind of like flying.
You luck out. Yeah, I manifest. If I have to fly, I visualize and manifest the peacefulness of it because I'm agoraphobic. So. So I have to.
Usually the pilots will often see me sitting there just asking me.
Do you know the same thing happened to me? The pilot. There was 3 pilots on my flight, and he came and sat next to me for about 3 hours.
Can I just say I've never had that happen to me.
Last time they were trying to sit next to me.
I did, and he gave me his business card, and he was doing like this funky figure of 8 on my third eye and all this kind of stuff. He was like trying to chill me out. It was really weird. And the next day I sat there and I thought, did that actually happen? And I took a picture of his business card, so I knew it really did happen. His name was Bob B. like as in Bumblebee. It's
Right.
the weirdest thing.
That is, well, okay.
It was very odd, yeah.
I thought bumblebees weren't able to fly, according to the scientific journal.
Yeah, well, this
Sorry,
one
that
did.
was a bad joke. Yeah. That was, yeah.
Okay. The next question. Has anyone ever received information on how to do something that you didn't know anything about? So I think this is more about if someone's asked you something you've never heard of, or how do you find out about? If someone comes to you
Oh, I get, yeah, every day.
about something you've never heard of,
I just say to them,
do you
I've
do you
no
have
idea.
do you have like a go-to guy, or do you have someone who?
Yeah, I think.
Sarah has like a walking encyclopedia friend.
Yeah, I have.
You're horrible,
Yeah.
Taj.
I have lots of go-to people when people come to me with something. If I don't know, I say, "Oh yes, I know so and so." I'll go to them and ask them. You know, you just make so many connections that someone always knows something about something if you don't.
I just, I usually send them all to, if it's got to do with conspiracy stuff or stuff like that, I usually send a lot of them to my friend Sean's page. Otherwise, I do have my friend he's a genius and he does a lot of Egyptian stuff, and that's very kind of him. And he, he shares that with me and a lot of stuff on different subjects, and he's quite knowledgeable. So I've got him. Then I have Richard, my Gandalf, who's, just also.
I'm not stroking my beard. Right.
So yes, I do have go-to. Yeah. And if it's anything spiritual, I usually get help on it on that level.
Yeah. But I think it's also true, Sarah, that, and I assume the same for you, Danielle, that there are times when you do get what some people call a word of knowledge. You get information about particularly a person or a subject or whatever that you think, where did that come from? But it's actually absolutely on the money, because certainly that's something that I've had as well.
We don't know everything on everything. That's just it, And a lot of people think we're know-it-alls at times, but we're not. There's lots of things we're figuring out ourselves too. No matter, no matter how many
a lot of
times
what I post is through personal experience. I'm learning along with everybody else, and I just so happen. It's almost like I publish a diary each day of what I'm learning, and kind of go with it that way,
But I think therefore it's almost like the answer is summarised. It depends what it is. But we all of us have lots of resources. We have books, we have YouTube, we have people, and we also have that direct connection. And I think none of them is better than the others, but they're all available to us.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sarah?
Any other questions?
Sarah, do you want to add anything to that?
I was asking if there's any other questions.
Yeah. Next question. How would one get a better feeling for themselves when applying the law of attraction? I'm not sure if you covered this or not in the previous question about law of attraction. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by
how would you raise your vibration? How would you become more positive?
Become more positive, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that's just going to... Go ahead.
It's various practice. I mean, you have to... meditation is wonderful.
If a person is very negative, they have to work on that first, don't they?
Before... Oh, yeah,
absolutely. There's no...
Yeah, it's good for raising the frequency right away, believe it or not, is Hulda Clark Zapper. Really, it does. If you do that, just every day, it starts to raise your frequency. And then you should add, of course, superfoods and everything else. But
yeah, and without kind of being ridiculous, good sex is wonderful for the raising of your vibration.
Love, yes, love.
I will have to take your word on that one, Danielle.
Well, I can't quite remember myself, to be honest.
Love and sex go together for me. I'm very
well, yeah,
weird.
absolutely.
I can't connect, I can't connect, so it's
anything that makes you feel good will raise your vibration. Please do not try to manifest when you're in a negative place, because you will just make an absolute hash job of it.
And
it'll be a disaster.
Yes, I've seen that. Yes.
And I think somebody's actually mentioned it, but I want to rephrase it.
Meditation, wonderful. 15 minutes in the morning, 15 in the evening if you can, but no, you don't really need any more than that unless you're really unbalanced. Meditation is so vital for the balance of your energies within you.
It's yoga.
Yeah, yoga is fantastic for it. Anything that makes you feel good will raise your vibration. So if you love music, dance around, have your headphones in, listen to as much music as you want.
Yes,
anything that makes you feel good.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, Danielle, I've got to get you to try trapeze yoga. It's this thing you hang up in basically in the hallway or something, and you can
Yeah, I've seen that. That looks so good.
You should try it.
Can I also throw in something that maybe we talked about the positive things and building up and doing good things. I actually have a huge issue with what I have now termed fear porn. And I find that a lot of the conspiracy theory stuff, I mean, yes, we have reasons to be concerned about corporations, for example, about governments, etc., etc. They are not, well, the world is not populated by good people, but fear porn is where everything becomes a conspiracy.
Evil. Everything becomes evil. Yes.
Yeah. And see, again, this is what people don't understand, is that the alternative media will set up intentionally to, again, keep people in a low-level vibration.
Yes.
To me, what happens is I took a little bit of abuse when I changed direction because I stopped talking about the system. The reason I did it is because I inherently understood that once you understand what's going on in the system and you realize it's a sham and a lie, the next thing you do is move on. You evolve into understanding that you change your point of focus, you change where you're at, your alignment on all of those things, and that is how we raise the vibration of the planet. Consistently, I see people every day talk about their particular conspiracy theory and then get into huge arguments with each other like children in a playground. You don't even see ordinary mainstream, what people would class as sheeple, doing that with each other.
No.
The aggression, the anger, the hatred, and they think they're going to make the world a better place. No, you're adding to it. You're giving them what they want. People don't evolve past finding out the truth of the system. They stay there and then they become bitter, and it's really sad to watch.
Thank you. Yeah.
Today, I posted, I have very spiritual experiences and divine, and I definitely have, I feel a connection deeply to God and to God force. I don't believe in a God just sitting up there like everybody would believe in the force. And I posted today something that happened to me as a little small child, and I've seen a lot of angels when I was, a child that helped me out, because having lupus, I always was getting help from the angels when I had very, very bad times. And when I was a small child, I had a very spiritual experience happen where I heard my name being called, and I know that it was like called by God or an angel. Today, last night, I had this happen to me, and I posted this, and people got on there and started saying it's holographic tech, it's evil, it's this, and I know the feeling I got from that was very uplifting and divine, and I'm sitting there reading this like, are you serious? Are you going to sit there?
They will force their opinion on you like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And sit there and say that because you're such a closed off person, you're closed off from energies and stuff like that, you're closed off from God, which your own choice, by the way you're acting, and you're saying everything is evil, you have to come and try to taint my experience.
They can't help themselves but to dictate to us.
Exactly, and it's absolutely disgusting, but it's fair porn, and those people are often possessed by lower entities looking for a nice feed of energy. And we have lots of energy, and since we have a lot of energy, that's why they target us a lot.
Well, and that's it, the more you shine, the more they
candle flame and moss comes to mind again.
Absolutely. And I'm good for I've become very fortunate to know Mark Bayersky, who is just one of the most amazing healers on the planet.
Awesome.
And he has been a wonderful support to me over this last year particularly, and he has explained to me that the challenges that we sometimes face are to the extreme because the darkness is so desperately trying to pull us down because we're so dangerous to it. And the more you shine, the more, in some ways, the more negativity you can attract from these entities. I've had shadow people experiences where I've been dragged out of bed by my ankles. I've had an energy that climbed in through my mouth and circulated through my body, got into my lungs and suffocated me from the inside out. Sleep paralysis, you name it. And you will have people that will tell you it's because you're messing with the devil, you're worshipping Satan because you believe in spirituality. I mean, it's just nonsensical.
It's a circular argument, isn't it?
But this reminds me of astral projection. When you do get out of your body the first time, many people are scared to never do it again, because when they get out of their body and they see these entities around them, it's entities that are connected to their consciousness that they could actually get out and remove, but they get so terrified they just don't want to do it anymore. They don't want to deal with it and say it's evil.
I've never had entities around me when I've come out of myself.
That's because you do a lot of self-work. I've had people,
massive amounts, yeah.
Exactly.
And by the time you learn
if you see entities around you, you need to do self-work. And I've had people approach me and tell me, well, when I got out of my body, there was all these entities. Yes, they're in your subconscious. That's alerting you there's something wrong. Not for you to go back to sleep and say, oh, I'm scared because I just saw demons around me. This is evil. Because you're seeing the truth. It's evil. See, people don't. They'd rather live in a shell. Sometimes they'd rather live in a shell than face reality and fix it and actually evolve. And that's a very sad thing.
And it can be scary to evolve at times. You have to be incredibly strong, emotionally as well as spiritually. And I've had some immense attacks on me, energy-wise, from physical people, from non-physical entities, you name it, I've had it. And you have to be absolutely as tough as they come. And I think people underestimate us sometimes because we're small, because we look delicate.
I do not underestimate Sarah.
We're a little bit like Little Red Riding Hood. And and I had this was an analogy I thought of this afternoon when I had that text from this stalky person, and I thought, you might think you're a clever wolf, but you chose Little Red Riding Hood, and I don't fancy your chances one little bit.
Because you can manifest a woodsman with an axe.
Yeah, I've got my own.
Even better.
I actually had my first psychic attack on me earlier this week, which I took Sarah about. And
don't say that name. We don't want to say that name.
No, I won't say any names, but it was just a bit weird. Obviously, I must be, doing something right if people are spending time to attack me.
You know you're doing something right when you start pissing them all off, Taj.
Oh yeah.
If you don't have enemies, you're not making it.
You're not making a difference.
My friend from Vice, he said that. He said, you know that you're actually doing a change, or you're making some ripples if people are attacking you. If they aren't, then you haven't got there yet. So he's like, see it as a positive thing. So that has helped me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really do things like astral travel and stuff like that, which Sarah does. A lot of the stuff that comes to me through my dreams. So I sort of see things in my dreams, and then they sort of lead me to investigate certain things, and my dreams sort of parallel, what I find out.
So you're getting that divine guidance.
Yeah, I'm getting guidance sort of in a different way, really. I have had out-of-body experiences.
I'll be honest, I have never had an out-of-body experience.
Mine started when I was 20, and I had a nervous breakdown, and I was pregnant with my daughter, and I had my first out-of-body, and I had maybe 7 over the years after that, and now it's pretty much all the time. I can just pop in and out when I feel like it.
But it's always a dangerous thing to say, I'm not good enough because I don't get X, Y, or Z, or Taj, you are a wise person. You have your own gifts, you are unique.
Our gifts are absolutely unique.
Yeah.
Everyone,
I don't out of body, but trust me, when give me a set of rules to do with the cards that I work with, and I know that what I'm doing is absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think everyone is different. Everyone is different. I think you don't necessarily need to be able to astral project or stuff to.
Well, I think I kind of liken it to working for an enormous global corporation. We are the light in this global corporation of light workers, and in an enormous corporation, you need an enormous amount of skill sets to make that company work, and that's what all of us are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the next question. What would someone do when they see maybe a public figure in their dreams? Have any of you seen anyone famous or celebrity or anything in your dreams? And what were they doing?
I've had the Clintons, Hillary Clinton, a lot recently.
Okay, so one, they can be entities that are shifting. If you're attracted to a celebrity, right, and you see that celebrity in your dream and you're getting it on with that celebrity, it can be an entity that has taken the form and to take your energy, comes in your dream and does that. There's a couple of different reasons why you would. One is that you're tapping into them too. 2 is that, 3 would be more like that you are Oh, you are, how can I explain this? Okay, so one is that you are, I just confused myself. I had it all in my head.
It's okay.
I'm hungry. I'm waiting for the show to be
I'm really hungry. Yeah.
More food.
Okay, so yes, one, it can be an entity that's trying to, come and take your energy. Two, it can be because you're tapping into them. And then three, it's you are definitely trying to connect with them and you are reaching out to them yourself.
Sarah, is there a way to tell the difference?
Ah, yes, you punch them. I'm serious. I'm serious.
Wow.
And when you punch them, if they shape shift, if it's an entity and you punch it, I'm not kidding you, the force field from the punch or from a sound that comes from you will hit it. The entity will take its original form. I've ran into this quite a lot. If not, sometimes, I tapped into Adele not long ago, and Adele was telling me that she was connected to ISIS, and that she was a long time ago, that she was connected to ISIS, and that, she would use her voice for very divine things. So I tapped into a good part of her that's creative, that's beautiful, because I do think Adele holds something very divine within her, and that's why she has such a beautiful voice. So there's, and I do know it was her because I tested it out. I'm quite advanced in doing this stuff. I tested it out. There are times when I've had stuff come to me, and basically I just punch it in the face or punch it. And creature, changes some sort of weird ass creature that's trying to project, and as something and get near me. And they can even take family forms sometimes. Try certain entities.
I get a lot of my ex-husband. I do. Yeah,
wow.
that he's left his wife for me.
Right. Have you ever tried punching him in your dream to see what
I'm going to give it a good go. Next time I see him, let me just punch you in the face and see.
And if nothing else, you'll feel better.
Yeah, absolutely.
See if it's really his soul or some entity parading as him. You need to test that. Either way, punch will be good.
Okay, I'll remember that.
We're going to be called cruel to men now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that'll be the next thing we're accused of.
Can I suggest to people, do not try this at home, right? Not without proper adult supervision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, there's no adults in the room at the moment, so.
Now is the time where we have to say horrible things about ourselves, just like everybody does. We get
to balance it out.
Exactly. How ugly we are, how just
hideous
we are in life.
My nails
nobody wants us, all these things that we're accused of.
I absolutely would never want to look like you in a million years, Sarah, being all fabulous as you are.
Was that a backhanded compliment?
No man loves me because I'm just a horrible person. So
That's
man
exactly
loves me
why I'm a
whatsoever.
single old hag, Sarah.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the other old quote ugly hag here too, So
absolutely vile.
No,
vile.
can I ask, what does that make us do? We can't even claim to be hags.
Absolutely beautiful, fair young maidens, I'm sure.
No, last time I checked, definitely not maiden. But
Well, I'm a man, so there you go.
That's where I've been going wrong.
Yeah, all 5 foot of me.
Listen, I'm an escort, but I'm a really bad escort because I'm not making any money out of this cool escorting.
Well,
I don't see the money. Where's the money?
Sarah, do you not remember the story that went out about me that I was a Japanese sex robot?
Wow.
That's one of my favourites.
Oh my god.
Can I get you from a vending machine?
Right. I'm David Icke's daughter. I'm a Japanese sex robot. I'm a man in drag, a 6'3" man in drag, I might add. Sarah's met me. I mean, I'm literally
with a little
5
Pavilion
foot.
accent.
I'm 5 foot and I weigh less than 8 stone. Yeah, I'm a 6'3" man in drag, according to some lunatic in Australia. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, according to some famous author, not famous, he thinks he is famous, him and his girlfriend. According to them, I've been stalking them for 5 years. I'm an escort. I'm this, I'm that.
Terrible human being,
Aren't you supposed
Sarah.
to be coloured as well? Aren't you supposed to be black?
Oh, yes, get this!
See, now that would be hilarious for me because I'm actually albino, so I'm waiting for that one next. I am waiting for that one next. I've heard just the most amazing stories about myself. If you Google, Sarah, have you ever Googled yourself?
No, I will not do it. Max used to Google and get
one of my friends called me the other night, and we haven't seen each other for a couple of years, and he said, "I'm going to Google you," and I went, "Please don't." He was in fits. I was like, "I'm glad you think it's funny because I really don't."
I do warn people. I say when you Google me, there's a lot of people also who don't like me, who did forums and stuff. I'm just letting you know I'm not the person on those forums that they say that I am.
Yeah, I found that loads of people go on forums in my name and say really abusive stuff. I'm like, it's not me. It's terrible. But you know what else they've done to me, Sarah? They've screen grabbed shots from my YouTube channel when I'm pulling hideous faces.
Oh,
so there's loads of...
They did this to me, and they created a profile, and then they tried to add Taj not long ago and said how ugly I was on every single level.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hilarious.
Oh, I get the you self-serving, hideous, narcissistic witch. You name it, I get it.
And I know what we're laughing at, but I really do hope that the people here listening to us, and I'm very grateful that we have people here listening to us, but also spread this message. You know, we laugh about it, but it's the dark humor of people who actually get so much attack and abuse.
We have to.
I
have to laugh about it. You know,
Max
took it very seriously. When he found out something, he used to just get so angry and walk around in circles and say he wanted to just destroy that person for saying something like that about me. And I just told I was trying to teach him, you have to laugh about it because otherwise you can't really do anything about it.
Well, this is it, because it is a transfer of energy, and if you give your power to them, it just escalates it and it drains you completely, and it's just so pointless. You have to laugh at how ridiculous it is.
I got upset that so many people, including this woman who quote, I wanted to steal her beautiful quote body. Yeah. She tagged his mom saying that they were, and married, and his mom.
Yeah, it's the same. It is the same woman then.
What is this insane woman? And then this other one, I guess her name has to do with like crystals or something like that. His mom calls me and says, she's like, what's this woman? And all of these women are approaching her. He didn't want anything to do with them. He never told his mother about them. He basically told his mom I was the love of his life. He didn't give a crap about any of these women. But because they were on his Facebook, they think
Can you imagine what it's like?
I have too much pride for myself. I cannot have a relation. I cannot claim some guy over the internet. First of all, you better take me to dinner. You better know me for a good while before you even think about getting near me.
Yeah.
First of all,
I mean, honestly,
I'm not going after guys on the internet.
In all seriousness, trying to date is a minefield. If you meet somebody that has no idea about the alternative scene, and I can't tell men my last name because they'll go and Google me, and I will never hear. I've had guys who've Googled me and then they've just disappeared and completely ghosted me because they've seen stuff on the internet about me and think, oh my God, what the hell are you?
I'm lucky because I don't get that. They just are really like, I just want to listen to you for hours. I don't know what I do.
I think because Sarah, I think there was one of the differences here that Danielle, if I hear you correctly, you have an issue with your agoraphobia. You have a family, and as a result, therefore, you are much more reluctant to go out and be seen.
Yes.
Sarah is one of those people, and I have watched it happen. Sarah's the kind of person who walk into a pub, and it's like all the eyes are connected to her by threads, and the guys, and even the girls can't stop watching her.
But that's funny because when I do go out, the same thing does happen to me, and I find it quite unnerving.
It's really annoying because me and Richard basically go and sit. We go. There's this place called the Bohemian, and it's serves. It's not a pub like
Sarah. That's going to be packed.
I was going to say, Sarah, don't tell people where you go, for God's sake.
Whatever.
I'm going to have to mace the place.
No, but and we go sit there to read books because I go and sit there and have sparkling water because I don't drink, and I sit and read books. And I'm in my corner because this place is huge, and it's a nice place. Lots of families go there. And basically people, like I said, there's enough attention there, getting rid of attention there. When people care, I hate it. I'm reading my book like I want to read my book. I don't want to like fill these eyes. Like,
and I do the same. And I'll say to my friend, "Have I got a bogey on my face? Is there something? Have I got lipstick on my teeth?" Because people stare at me. Because I'm albino. Because I've got quite odd colour eyes. For people who aren't aware, I've got quite a strange.
There is another element as well, Danielle. That something that certainly is true about Sarah. And no, I've not met you. I'm sensing very strongly. It is the channeling of the divine feminine.
Yes.
That
and people will say to me quite often, they'll look at my eyes and they will just be spellbound, like, and they'll say to me, "I can literally see into your soul." Because I have no lens over my eyes, I guess it must just be an easier connection for people to make. But it can be very unnerving when people stare at you.
But it's also a spiritual connection. There is that spiritual energy connection.
Danielle, did you say that you had Hillary Clinton coming into your dreams?
Yes, and I think it would probably be because I've been doing a lot of, I've been focused quite a lot on the American election because of a friend of mine in America who's making videos. And I've been trying to help him get some publicity for his videos. And it kind of happened around that. So I would think that's probably why she appeared. She wasn't really doing any, her and Donald Trump appeared, which is never a good combination in a dream. I would have preferred Harrison Ford and Mike Pello, but there you go.
I was doing at least 2 months ago, I was doing some work to help a girl out. And oddly enough, that was, she was possessed. And oddly enough, when I was doing that work, I traced some of the entities back to Donald Trump and saw that he was using high black magic. So I do believe that on my side, I believe the candidates in the United States right now are using
black magic. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, I wish he would, I think maybe he's using his hair as an antenna of some kind.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Okay, next question. How do you know if you have an entity attachment and how do you get rid of it? I think Sarah's probably answered this quite a few times already.
When I was younger, I was walking and I saw shadow attached to the back of me, what they call a shadow being, and I was able to detach it. This was a very strong shadow being, and when I did, it literally went from sunlight, blue sky, to within probably a matter of 20 minutes, pouring. In fact, I was in France, and it flooded. The river flooded into some of the restaurants. So when you do detach this stuff, it has a very, very severe effect. I was able to do that after hours of meditation, lots of fasting, lots of different stuff. So it depends the sort of entities you have, what strength they are, what's trying to attach to you, because obviously the more work that you're doing...
Sarah, how do you know if you've got an attachment? How do you know if you've got an attachment?
I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that. Give me a second. So the more work you're doing, the more you're going to be targeted by very high-level entities. It's not because you're evil. Again, it's because we are doing a lot of good work. You're going to be targeted by high-level entities. So basically, to find out what level, first of all, you need to sort of poke around and figure out what you're dealing with, because sometimes you're going to need outer help to get rid of them. To find out how you have them, there's a couple of different ways. I found out, again, that holding 2 crystals in your hands, one in each palm, you can actually sort of, I could see when I closed my eyes, I could sense and see and feel the attachment of something's trying to attach to me or is attached to me. So then I can sense the level of, sort of the level of connection, the link that it has to me, and then remove it as such. So you're going to poke around like that. I do it with crystals or visualization. I literally sit there, close my eyes, and visualize me scanning myself. When this happens, then I could sometimes see a image of a face or something like that of a different being, and sometimes I'll Google it depending on the description that I have from it. I'll Google it and then check it up and see what how to get rid of it, sage, basil, stuff like that. So there's definitely those 2 ways, and I did find out the Hulda Clark Zapper helps detach all sorts of negative entity stuff too.
Okay.
I have pure energy healing sessions every week. Is one of the ways I deal with it.
Right. Is that from a third party?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Give a second. I'm going to have to back up because unfortunately Sarah's machine just died on her. So I'm going to hand my system over to her, Can I say also that we probably need to be wrapping up by 9 o'clock our time, because it's 2 hours we've been on.
Yeah.
I know Sarah does need to eat. Danielle, can I say thank you? It's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for
You too. Thank
letting me
you.
be here. Taj, thank you again for inviting me. And Sarah just going off to get something from her room. All right. Okay. It's we live on electronics, and of course we don't have energy. Then we're stuffed.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye everybody, and look forward to the next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, we'll take a couple more questions. We'll take a couple more questions, and then we'll
Okay.
we'll close up. Okay.
Apparently, my phone was draining faster than it was charging.
I'm plugged into source. Otherwise, mine would have too.
Mine was plugged into source, but it's not charging fast enough.
You devil spiritual woman, you.
Okay, the next question. I don't know if either Danielle or Sarah can answer this one. What does a DNA upgrade mean, and should we do it? I don't know if.
No idea, Sarah.
We can do that all the time, whether through food, through, I do it to quite a few of my friends. I just go ahead and what you want to do is you want to visualize the DNA right in front of you, and then go ahead and pour gold energy onto it, because gold has got the 42 frequencies of the divine. You shouldn't do white, never white, but gold. And what you do is you just, sometimes when I pull it up, I can see different pieces sort of broken or stuff like that, and I work on that energetically, and then I remerge that. So that's how you can do that.
Okay. Someone's just posted, have you heard that Hillary Clinton runs the Monarch program, Danielle? Have you heard about that?
No, I hadn't heard that. That's quite interesting. If whoever that is has some information, I'd be really interested.
It's Jolene.
Lovely.
I've got something to add in on there. On Stranger Things, the woman who plays the woman from NASA who recruits children for the program, for the dimensional time travel or whatever program in Stranger Things, the actress looks quite a bit like Hillary Clinton. I've noticed that.
How strange.
Mm-hmm.
She does have a body double, doesn't she? I can't remember her name. It's been quite well publicised.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, I've looked that up. I think they do look, especially when they were younger, they do look like twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll make this the last question. I think both of you can answer.
How many questions do we have more?
Let me have a look. There's only one other after this, I think. So
well, then let's finish up those two, and then I'll address the rumors about me being half black. And
Okay, next question is: does prayer work if we are in the Matrix, or if we are in the Matrix? And oh God, it's disappeared. Does prayer work, and does anyone actually hear these prayers, or who hears these prayers?
Well, from my perspective, I don't believe in a prayer system purely because I work on a metaphysical level. I'm not somebody that prays. I mean, Sarah might have a completely different view, but for me, it's just a non-thing. But I think if you believe in something strongly enough, the fact is that we are magical, and anything can be real if you practice it, I guess.
For me, prayer, one thing is that prayer, I think, is so hyped up, especially in the United States, and just the word pray, to pray is a bit worrisome to me as I decode meanings in words.
Well, it's turned into a source outwardly, isn't it? And that's never advisable.
Exactly, and meditation to mediate is, yes. So
to look at anything outside of yourself as a source of power is ultimately ludicrous, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. So I do think that it's good to say, I oftentimes just speak out loud because my higher self is hearing it, God's hearing it. I don't consider it prayer. I just consider it speaking to the divine, or speaking to my higher self. And, but meditation is more important, I think, because of the fact that it goes into the inner. But also, instead of prayer, I do think that chanting is really good. It clears all the aura and stuff. I am chant. The I am, which is your higher self. Yeah. Yes, because just the word prayer has pray in it, and
exactly. And
there's something very alarming right there.
And the very fact that you're told to get on your knees and pray is a
It's taking the power away from that divine individual being, yes.
Exactly. It's a way to take away your power. I think there's a huge difference between having faith that there is a higher power that will support you and praying, because when you're praying, you're hoping, you are desperate, and that isn't a good place to come from.
Many people just, seeing people that are religious in the United States who sit there and pray, and they're not connected inner to God. They're just saying some outer words, and they think that that's going to do something, and it's really not. It's really having more negative effect, because it's pulling them more towards the outside, where they're praying, to something in the air. They're not praying, connecting, realizing they're part of God. Yes,
it's a place of desperation.
Okay, there is actually a question I wanted to ask both of you myself about tarot cards, because I've had a bit of a weird experience with tarot cards recently, and I want to ask both of you how you use your tarot cards, and what, you don't have to go into specifics, but what events have you predicted through tarot cards?
I'll let you
what events have come true?
First.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Do you want me to take this, Sarah?
Yes, go ahead first, and I'll add in.
Okay, I don't have a specific layout. I don't use a specific layout when I read. I very intuitively throw the cards. I let them fling, and I never learned how to read. I just picked up a deck one day, flung them, and I could read.
That's what I did, yeah.
I've predicted pregnancies. I've predicted new jobs, homes, partners, all kinds of different stuff. I'm able to connect to people that have passed over, and even quite often identify which family member it is. I'm able to tell people if their partner is cheating on them, and various other things.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So for me, I've got tarot cards. I've got some that I need to color in. I thought they're just going to be pretty because they have beautiful, sort of Celtic stuff on the back that I want to color. I don't do tarot cards. I do have an angel deck of cards. I don't know if you consider those tarot cards.
I use angel deck.
Yes. I've used it
The
twice.
main deck I use is an angel deck, but I find that actually there's different energies in different decks, and I bought one deck and it was really sinister. So I literally just banished it from my house. Yeah.
This is it, and I did like the angel deck because I think the angel deck, I carry it in my purse, and it has each angel on it, on the one I have, and I feel like that's bringing the presence of angels, more into my aura, into my space. Otherwise, I usually do everything off of intuition and off of what I see. I've only did it twice. Well, I did it with you, Taj, remember, once, and then I did it on another person, and basically, I was just sort of playing, I thought, I'm just going to keep these in my purse because of the angel pictures on them to bring that energy, but I was sitting in the train, and I thought, hey, you know what, I'm just going to play with for the first card, and I thought about some time, and I thought about some person that said, do not go there, and the second card said, no.
Yeah, I get that. Caution, no, now is not the right time.
And it's horrible because I'm probably going to go there anyhow.
Yeah. No, I do that. I think, no, you're not reading me right. You can't really read for yourself, though, to be honest.
No, you can't. That's probably why you were getting the answers you were getting.
Yeah, I read. I have readings done by someone else. Just so you're aware, by the way, I just want to tell you this, Sarah. This is absolutely your bloody influence. I've got someone touching my leg at the moment, and the only person that I can physically see in my room is me. I've been watching things walk around my room for probably the last half an hour.
I did this to somebody yesterday, and they started seeing stuff. They started freaking out.
Yeah, you better clear this up, woman, tonight before I go to bed.
I'm bringing the dimensions into your room. I posted. Hey, I'm honest. I posted. I know it's hard for me lately. I don't know whether I'm living in this reality or others, because I'm seeing them all sort of merging it at the same time. Like, where am I right now?
Don't. I can see it's right next to my face, like looking at me. Fuck up. Sorry. You have to do that. I've got a friend who's having really bad trouble at the moment with entities, where he's having an awakening. And I said to him, you have to be really brutal. You have to tell them to go away.
Yes. I get everything. Ghosts, angels, basically the whole
I get
book.
a lot of angels, yeah.
Yes, I get quite a few angels. But I get the whole book of everything sees that they can, I can communicate. I can see them. Well, hello, hey, hi. go tell my family this, it's a ghost that's got killed or died or something, and it's like, go tell my family or this or this, and I can't just go do that oftentimes. Sadly or not, sadly I cannot do that,
Okay. Unless there's anything either of you want to comment at the end here.
I've got one quick question for Sarah, if it's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Have you been able to connect to Max since he passed
I
over?
have, and actually every single day he does, and every single night. Well, it's last night he was speaking to me again, and the fact that I'm away from him, and it's deeply hurt me, and it's deeply hurt him, and he tells me he doesn't want to go, he wants to come back. At one point he was like, well, maybe he can come back into another body and be a walk-in, and he's definitely communicating quite deeply with me, and he's everywhere I go, he's there, and he seems to be protecting me, and I do think that he's he doesn't want to move on until I'm with him, and he's basically keeps telling me this. Yes, so it is helpful, but at the same time I wake up in the morning and it hurts. Because I stay all asleep and I communicate with them just as if it's real, as in real time. And then I wake up and it definitely hurts. But sometimes, I'll cry, and I did cry quite deeply today. And he was just, his ghost was there, comforting me and sitting there and, trying to speak to me. So it does provide comfort, but also deep pain that, he's there, but I can't
touch him. Yeah.
Yes, and that's quite deeply hurting for me.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry.
On another note, I guess we should finish this up. Danielle, are you eating? You sound like you're eating.
Sorry, I'm eating a cheese sandwich.
You cheater!
I was so hungry. I haven't eaten at all today.
I'm going to finish up with one last thing, is that, hey, I'm not half black. My dad is German American. My mom is French. Last time you guys were saying I was half black. Now you're saying I'm too pale on videos. That I should get some sun. You need to make up your minds, please. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Danielle, for coming on as a guest.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. It was awesome.
Another great show. Okay, goodbye, everyone.
I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.